broadcasting. Here we go. Let me open my chat window. Thank you. Okay. Should be all set. Let me share this. Okay. Almost there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cookies Enabled. And as you can tell, things are a little different this week. It's not Andrew next to me. It is Eli next to me. Eli Snyder, thank you for joining us here on the show. And again, if things are a little different, I'm sorry, everybody. We've got a little bit of audio issue going on here, so hopefully I'm not echoing or anything. So if there's anybody watching this along, definitely let me know in the chat bar if there's something going on with my audio here, just in case. So, but again, Eli is new to the show. He is a teacher, teaches music, special education. Huge thank yous for being on the show. But he also wrote a book, everybody, which is really awesome. So that's really what we have him on the show today about, is because it's about ChatGPT and just how this could change our everyday lives, and kind of like a useful, handy guide to just getting to know how to use it, which is actually really helpful, because it can be daunting and a little scary. So we're gonna go over some questions, kind of break it down. But yes, definitely introduce yourself, Eli. Sorry, I'm so used to Andrew being on the show. Oh man.
All good. Yeah. So my name's Eli Snyder. I am a teacher out in Colorado. I live in the Rocky Mountains, about 2 hours west of Denver. I teach high school. And then I'm a musician by trade. I studied music in college. That's where I met Will when I was in college, working at the Radisson.
Yeah.
And I studied music, and I teach choir, piano, special education, music classes, and then special education PE classes. And that's actually where where the reporter had reached out to me. And kind of got me featured in this New York Times article in the first place, was how I had been using ChatGPT in my professional life at work. But that's kind of a little bit about me, I suppose.
Which is exciting. No, and that's perfect. That just fills in the blanks for people. Again, I did link this on Facebook here, so hopefully it'll get out there and shared, and most people will see. So we'll see. I mean, because again, this will be spreading. So. Well, let's just dive right in here. I've got some questions broken down about ChatGPT in general, because you've used it quite a bit, so you'll probably have more answers to questions. I've only used it for maybe a couple hours tops. Okay. And then I also have questions about your book too. Now, I haven't read much, but from what I know, I have some questions. So let's just dive right in here.
Yeah.
So my first question for you is, how did you come up with the idea to make a guide to use GPT? Like, where did this come from? Was it just all about the news article, or was there something more that just maybe something in general?
So I think one of the things that really got me onto this idea of creating a guide is that, ChatGPT is such a brand new software.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of people who have a lot of reservations about AI in general. I think that, we've been kind of receiving this narrative in media and like Hollywood of like
Sure.
the robots are going to take over the world and,
Right.
and
Well,
all
even
this
in
stuff.
video games, we're always playing against the AI. They're never usually
Exactly.
working with you, So this is very different.
Exactly. And so I think that there's a lot of people have a lot of reservations. It's very new. And
Right.
and I've just been having conversations like with my mom about these things
Okay.
and people at school and other teachers and
Sure.
some other people that I know. And it all like to a lot of people, it seemed very confusing.
Okay.
But to me, I mean, it just kind of seemed like it's like you're just talking to a computer a little bit, I guess.
Right.
And it's like kind of like it kind of feels like Google a little bit to me.
Sure. Like an advanced search Google kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
really.
Right.
Seriously, it's like this Google that you can actually interact with a little bit and talk to.
Right.
And so I kind of saw, and I had heard from the reporter from the New York Times, and I was like, this is gonna be. I was thinking to myself, I was like, this is gonna be something that's gonna become pretty big,
Right.
and people are gonna want to know how to use it.
Yeah. I have lost Eli, unfortunately. This hopefully I'll get him back here in a second. So bear with us, everybody. Technical difficulties of live broadcasting. This is pretty normal. He should be able to come right back into the conversation. We'll see here. Hopefully. Sorry, everybody. Again. Hopefully we get Eli back. I might have to stop the stream. I'm texting him right now to see what's up. He said he could see and hear me, but unfortunately I cannot see or hear you. You are completely black on my screen for some reason. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. You were doing great, and then everything just kind of went off the screen. I've lost full connection to you, it seems. I'm going to see if I can get you back in here. There we go. Okay.
Oh.
Are you back in here now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think that the software somehow reset back to default, so I kind of had to go back in there and scramble it back to normal. So, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So, anyways, I was I kind of I saw a need. I think there's going to be a need for people to learn how to use this software.
Okay.
And I think that if you're like, I don't know, above the age of like 45, or
Sure.
or just a person who is like hesitant about this software in general.
Right. Right.
I thought that there might be a little bit of a need for how to actually use it.
No, I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Because that's something too. One thing too is that I think that especially with this kind of software, like it's only as good as you as the user is.
Sure.
And
sure.
so like
the information you feed it is kind of how it'll regurgitate or respond.
Exactly. And so like there was like one teacher who was like at school was like, yeah, I stumped ChatGPT, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's really what you get in, what you put, you get out what you put in.
Exactly.
So
and it can also kind of catch on to patterns. If it knows you're trying to stump it, it might just give you that answer that you were looking for and be like, aha, it's not totally dim-witted. It's based on what we've written in the past and what we've done in the past and what it's learned from the internet and its other experiences. So it's intriguing.
Well, a lot of teachers too, like they kind of they think of it as like this, we're gonna have to play this cat and mouse game with the students, and like where they're cheating and plagiarizing, and they're like, I can tell, and I can figure out that it's AI is writing this, and blah, blah, blah.
Right. Okay.
And
okay.
What I really talked to the reporter about too is like, this software, it's here to stay. And
right. It's not going
really
anywhere.
Like, you have to think about how you're going to utilize it now instead of like, it's kind of like, it's like when the car was invented and you're one of those people that are like, I'd rather ride my bike. I don't know. I think cars are there. I don't know about those things. So, I think that's kind of like where we're similar. I mean, similar things have happened like with the internet and when it first came out. And when trains came, like, let me just say these like bigger advancements in technology, and AI is one of them.
Sure. No, and I completely agree with you. I definitely felt like this was almost like a kind of like a new Swiss Army knife had come out, and only a select few really knew how to fully utilize like all the different parts of it. But when they do, it's almost beautiful what they can come up with, just using this one tool, and that's why I think Microsoft and Apple and some of these huge companies have just been so eager to jump on the GPT bandwagon, and just try to propel their business with it. And for Microsoft, anyway, it seems to have made a difference, at least for now. We'll see if this is a lasting difference, that people continue to use their search engine because of it. But we'll see. So far, so good. They've had hundreds of millions of new users join recently just because of that. And so we'll see. Even I went back to using Bing a couple times just to see if it was any different than it was before. And it really is pretty much the same. It hasn't changed that drastically. But using ChatGPT directly, it is a very different experience, better than any AI I've ever been able to use in the past. In fact, I've never had, I remember chatbots back in the day with AOL and them, and that was a huge deal. And you couldn't get 2 or 3 questions in without it forgetting what topic you were on. But I mean, you can go hours with ChatGPT on the same topic, and you don't have to regurgitate questions 1,000 times. It knows exactly what you're talking about, and it just goes with the flow. And I've never seen something like that other than humans. So I can see that scaredness for people that are like, oh, this is so dangerous and new, and there's all these new territories we're not, we have to explore. Are there dangers? That is actually one of the questions. Are there any kinds of dangers, or is this really just something, because it can give misinformation. So I know some news broadcasts have been like, be careful what you pretty much wish for, because it's kind of can make up stuff occasionally. So
of course, I have, and I put that actually in the guide. It's important to check the information that you're receiving. There have been some times where I was gathering some information, and I asked it for sources.
Sure. Okay.
And it gave me just some BS, NewYorkTimes.com/source XYZ, it didn't link to anything, and
it was just total made up.
And so part of it is my utilizing it in your content area of expertise, right? So I've used it, for instance, in the Times article, I used it to make lesson plans, detailed lesson plans, for my classes, and specifically for my special education classes, where there needs to be accommodations and there are special things that you need to take into account, and to create something like that without ChatGPT or whatever AI bot you want to use. I have used the Bing.
You have used the Bing.
I got on the wait list for Microsoft, and they got me on the AI Bing. It's it's got ChatGPT integrated into it.
Sweet.
And I what was I going to say? Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. You were talking about your schedule, and it was working with
yes. Kind of building so those things would take. That would take at least an hour and a half to put together a lesson plan, and really think about all these things and the procedure behind it and process. And I can just be create me a lesson plan for my adapted physical education class. I have these kinds of students. This is the activity that we're going to be doing. This is I want it to be maybe general outlines for the class. Go. And then it'll put something a whole entire page and a half together for me.
Wow.
And then if there are things that I want to change, I can be I don't like what you did on number 4 on the procedure. Can you make it sound more like this? Or add this to it, or change the tone.
Right.
Of what you're writing.
Sure.
And so then essentially what you do is, then you copy and then you paste it as plain text, and then you edit it to your liking, and you format it, and so it just it like expedites this process of doing work,
Sure.
really. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then what I told the reporter too is like it gives me more time to spend like connecting with people,
Right.
really.
Rather
'Cause I
than
don't have to spend
spending all
this
that time on your paperwork, you can now be working with the students and whatnot, or your
Exactly.
faculty, and so forth.
Yeah.
That's a huge improvement. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So cool. Yeah, and I mean that's the other kind of thing is that do you think other than just like office work, school work, business stuff, calendars and things, how do you see this really adapting into society, and how is this going to change how we interact with each other and our machines in our society? Do you think this is going to be a thing we see like at Redbox, like I can just talk to it and I want this kind of movie and it just suggests stuff, or
Yeah, I mean,
you know
I certainly think so,
okay,
actually. I think that well, they released their API
sure,
recently, and so they're going to be able to like actually integrate it into these things. And I know my brother was telling me about an AI app called Otter.
okay,
And
I've heard
what
about
that
that one. Yep.
does is it'll listen to meetings, and it'll
Sure.
take notes for you, and then it'll like summarize and like create graphics.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, I think of essentially what this eventually will be integrated into, Google Assistant or
Sure.
Siri.
Sure.
And then, you'll be able to go, like, for instance, with the Redbox example. Hey, you go to
Right.
Redbox and they're like, what are you looking for today? And it's like, I'm looking for movies that are this genre
Right.
and maybe they're this length and I like this kind of, and I like them to have this kind of thing in it. And it's like
Right.
this very organic experience. Because right now when you use technology, it doesn't feel as organic. It's
Oh
like
god, no! It's
you
drop
have to
down
know how
menus
to,
and yeah,
yeah, you have to know how to interact with the machine a little bit.
exactly. Yeah, it's
And
not. It's like a process. Even like my mother doesn't like to do like pump her own gas with her credit card because it's each machine is different. Everywhere you go, there's like 10 different questions and money back, yes, no, apply for a credit card. You're just trying to get gas. Why has it got to be 100 questions? So I
yeah,
get that, and I definitely understand that experience because yeah, it's every machine, like you state, is different, and so it's like a whole new learning curve. And I feel ChatGPT could be that window to possibly fix that issue, where everywhere you go, it's kind of like you got a Jarvis around or Alexa or something.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's a lot more personalized. My
right.
mom kind of compared it to that movie Her.
Okay.
Actually, that's
Interesting.
kind of what she like envisioned for all
Hmm.
of this. Where you can have like an assistant that like
Right.
interact with you on this much more personal level than Siri or
Okay.
Alexa.
Yeah. Yeah. I always thought of it like kind of like a Cortana. I thought that was the
Okay.
most, organic kind because she's really digital, but at the same time a hologramic, kind of AI of her own and a
Oh yeah,
software that
yeah,
was
yeah,
very rogue.
yeah.
And she also obviously sounds human because she was played by a human role. But now that Microsoft is really one of the forefronts to ChatGPT, so I think they could even start adapting it to some of their newer games that are coming out or newer hardware or software, and there's even rumors they're working it into Windows 12 possibly,
Okay.
and stuff like that. So you could just be like, I need to write this document and I want to send it to this person and blah 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 blah, and the computer would just do 90% of the work for you rather than you clicking and typing and doing all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
just a fluid thing.
Yeah,
um,
I know they're integrating it into Microsoft Office at the
yes,
moment.
yes.
Um,
And is that? Do you think is this another version of Clippy or the old school assistant that used to pop up and hey, how can I help?
I mean probably it's gonna be a similar kind of like
Sorry, I was getting a phone call. I had to deny. Sorry about
that's
that,
okay.
everybody.
I'm thinking it'll function in a similar kind of manner as like
Okay.
this instant. I saw Google put out a pre-release video for their integration into their suite, and it's kind of like it'll be like summarize all this email chain for me, or
Okay.
like it's gonna be a lot more integrated. It'll be like a real personal assistant.
Yeah, I think that's different. Again, that's why I wanted to have you on this show because there's so much different about this new program versus what we've seen in the past. Even when it comes to video games, It's always you're always usually just battling against enemies that are just popping up in
Yeah.
special spots and whatnot. But I can't wait to see how even just applying basic strategic, an analysis to ChatGPT could easily output, whole new, options for them,
Yeah.
especially because it can write its own code. So we could just fix the program's code from the beginning, which is just so cool and radical to me. Or
Oh
suggest
yeah.
whole
They
different options.
Oh yeah, I mean they had a developer live stream and they like coded like it coded a game for
Right.
them and it like fixed the code for them and
Oh,
it's
yeah, I
gonna
could.
be get to the point where like it's gonna be accessible. These like technology is gonna become more accessible to
Right.
people, which is
Right.
nice.
People that never
Um,
thought they could use technology now might have that ability other than a mouse and a keyboard. Now they
right.
can just verbally communicate just like they're talking to you and me kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
Can I share my screen on here? Can we watch a video? Like
I
on this?
don't
How does
know if
that
I
work?
can. I don't know if I can do that. I mean, does it give you an option to share
It says
something?
screen share. I
Okay,
don't
go
know.
ahead. Give it a shot. Click it.
All
Let's see
right,
what
let's see.
happens.
So let's see what happens.
Let's say nothing has happened on my screen yet, but maybe it gives me. Aha! It did give me another option. So let me see if I can drop this into. Is already occupied. Okay, cancel that. Let me see if I have to do a secondary window or something here. Collab
Okay,
cam.
because if it's too much work, it's okay. I was pulling up this this Google AI and workspace video they
Hmm.
have that really kind of shows off a
Right.
lot of the
I can pull that
capabilities.
up. Can you send me the link on Facebook
Yeah,
here, and then I'll
yeah, yeah,
pull it
yeah,
up that way here or on
yeah.
Messenger, because I can pull it up and onto my spare screen, and then I'll show it everybody that way. I got to add you to this screen as well here. Let me copy you over.
Okay.
Actually, I think I can just drag you over, can I? Doot. Yeah, you should be on this screen now. I still can't see you, but I can fix the problem. I don't know why it
I had a
always.
lot of customization to their video games with this kind of interactive chatbot
Okay.
experience that's possible, um, where you'll be able to kind of like this kind of idea. I think now we have this like where you can choose a couple different options when you're playing through a single player game
Right.
and I think what that's gonna have what that's gonna change into is where you like talk to the computer a little
Okay.
bit and then they kind of have a conversation a little bit
Okay.
with you, and that kind of pushes the storyline a little bit instead, but I don't know.
Right.
I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, and I think this is again, like you said, there's so much they could do with this. Even just like I mean, just being able to apply it in a video game world, just with people or the replies of your non-player characters, your NPCs. Because right now you go up and talk to somebody, it's like got two or three programmed responses. It's always
Hmm.
the same thing. It's very robotic. But applying Chat GPT to that and saying, okay, they can they're in this environment and this is how that person works and they're always talking this way and blah 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 blah. I think you
Yeah.
could just output a whole real world and make games, take it all to the next level. I mean, we've already got graphics that look real. Now we got to make the players that aren't actually players realistic somehow. And this is where the
Yeah.
AIs hopefully will catch up, is what I'm hoping for anyway. So we will see. And I'm surprised that you also think that it'll do the same thing, because I think that is also how this is going to go. Um,
Yeah, I think really like I kind of picture like Mass Effect and how that game
right,
developed, and that taken to like this larger, more interactive scale where that your NPCs like remember the interactions that they have and they play off of those, and it's
right,
this much more advanced kind of progression
right,
that can happen, and instead of like you know 3 or 4 possibilities, there's like 3 or 4 thousand possibilities for the ending of the game or
right.
something. um,
Well, that's so cool, though. I mean, and I love games that always had the multiple endings. I know Bioshock was one of my favorites. That one I think had like 4 or 5 different endings in the first one. So that was always cool. I love that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll see how that goes there. I did have a couple other random questions for you.
yeah.
How do you think ChatGPT can help people with their social skills? Does your book give some examples of this? Can you elaborate on that for us? Maybe?
Yeah, sure. Actually, so there is a whole entire chapter in the book
Oh,
about
cool.
communication and social
Okay.
skills. So, um, I think that's actually going to be that's going to be huge. So,
Right.
especially with the advent of the pandemic, and as this becomes more of like a voice thing,
Sure.
it's gonna be gonna be able to simulate situations, social situations for people. I think specifically in terms of as students in school and growing
Okay.
up, I think that there are a lot of times where learn socializing is not something that like it is something that we kind of just pick up, but it's
Right.
also something that's explicitly taught quite a
Okay.
bit, and that we're like corrected in ways that in things that happen where we have conversations with people, and then if we break a social norm, then we're
Sure.
corrected by that person, and so I think that there's a lot of ways that we can potentially simulate these things.
Okay.
And also too, like I've used ChatGPT for instance, like I get an email from somebody and I have an emotional response,
Right.
paste it into ChatGPT. I'm like, how can I respond to this email in a way that is not like accusatory or what have you? You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Sure.
Um,
Right.
and so and then I could even take it a step further and then be like, how can I respond in a way that blah blah blah, and then explain why it's
Okay.
it's like that. And it would say, when you write this, your tone comes across as this type of thing.
Wow. Okay.
Um, and so like I think as we kind of progress in this world of getting more integrated with technology, I think there will be more use cases for using AI to actually learn how to interact.
Right.
Because like I think that people are going to argue like, oh, like you're talking to a computer, it's not real, blah blah. But like we're getting to the point where people are obviously creating these
Right.
things,
Right.
and like they're manifestations of people,
Right. Exactly.
and it's
Exactly.
starting to become so lifelike or human-like,
Sure.
to the point where it's something that it really can fill in the gaps, I
Sure.
think, and especially for our special ed students at school. Like
Okay.
we do a lot of thought experiments and social scenarios and role
Sure.
playing.
Sure.
Like, is this something that you should say out loud, or is this something that you should keep in your head, or what's an
Okay.
what's an acceptable way to approach somebody, or hey,
Right.
you just
Right.
you just saw somebody and you haven't seen them for a while, what do you say to them, type of
Sure.
thing. And so like if we can have these kinds of interactions, it can be really beneficial to kind of like bridge the gap between no social
Right.
interaction with a computer or like a chatbot, up to interaction with real people.
Right. Right.
Because it's not as easy for some people to just like go out into the world and go and
Right.
talk to everybody. Um,
Right. Yeah, I get
Socializing
that.
is not
Yeah.
as easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. I get the whole public speaking thing is definitely not everybody's cup of tea. I know
Yeah.
they did a study a while ago there. They said that most people would prefer to die rather than public
Yeah.
speak, which is just crazy to think that death over just standing in front of a few people and saying something. But I honestly do get it, and I know everybody's like, "Well, you do live stuff, blah 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 blah." No, I do get it. You get antsy. Things go wrong all the time, as you can tell. We've already had stuff go wrong on our show
Yeah,
today.
for
So yeah, it
sure.
happens all the time. Not something new. I'm showing everybody some stuff in the background here. It's all the Google Workspace
Okay.
software stuff. It's all AI. Pretty much based off that video that you were had, and I've just replayed that video a few times as well, just kind of showing people that in the background. So,
Cool.
um, I did have another question. I think we pretty much answered almost all the questions I had, and I kind
Okay.
of figured we would, just kind of going through the conversation normally here. Let me make sure I didn't
Yeah.
miss anything. We were talked about that one. Okay, so do you think AI in general will start becoming a part of society, as like a buddy system, or kind of like we carry phones around today, and that is social media has worked its way into our literal social, in society. Do you think that will become, AI will also be that next kind of wedge into the world or not, I guess is a
Yeah,
good question.
I mean, I absolutely think so. I mean, we've talked about like productivity, we
Right.
talked about socializing. I mean, we talked about like storytelling and creativity.
Sure. Yep.
So I think that it's really gonna be it's gonna be and it's gonna all gonna be connected to this.
Right. It's all on your phone, right? Yep.
It's like everybody wants an assistant, you know, they want this person that's going to make their life easier, or this thing, you know, the
Right.
magical thing. um Excuse me. And I think that really, like, and chat gpt is starting to become that thing, and it's just like,
Right.
how can we like optimize it now,
Right.
right? Like, it's like my brother was, I was showing him some pictures of the new Bing,
Right.
that it's like
Okay.
literally like chat gpt, but it's more like a person than chat gpt is.
Right.
And he was like, wow, like Microsoft's really getting on it, and they're like ahead of the game. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, but like ChatGPT is like the first edition.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like the first Ford car. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. The Model T. Yep.
yeah, the Model
Exactly.
T.
Yep.
And now, like, we're gonna see all of this, like all of these iterations. Now they've, especially because they've like released this API out to
Right.
the public.
Right.
And so we're going to have developers like creating applications and creating websites and, like, you know, integrating it into their own things. And so
Right.
we're going to see this kind of like explosion of AI technology, and it's going to be really competitive. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it so we get to this point
Right.
with the phones in our pocket. So I think eventually what's going to happen is you're going to have Google Assistant or Siri, like, will be integrated, like chat gpt will be integrated into those things, and then
Right.
you will essentially have a buddy that you'll talk to in your pocket,
Which
more
is
so than you already
so
have
awesome.
now.
Right, exactly. And I think either way, that's just so cool. I mean, I think we've all been wanting that, especially since, we all saw Iron Man and, he's got Jarvis or whatever. He's,
Yeah.
oh, I need this, pull it up over here, and I want to compare these and analyze that. And, and we're always like, oh, why don't we have that? Like, why isn't that a thing yet?
Right.
And now it really is becoming a thing. In fact, they were probably working on it back when Iron Man first came out. And I know they've been really, pushing the limits of technology lately, and again, we haven't even really broken the cusp of like quantum computing or any of that stuff, and we're already getting almost, I would say, close to semi-sentient AI, where it is very not only aware of its surroundings, but who it is connected to, and how it can affect that thing, whatever it's connected to. I mean, whether that be you or me or a machine or another computer or something, that's just how it's going to be. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I agree.
Now, for everybody that's interested in trying to get their hands on the book here, I will pull that up. Give me 1 second here, and I'll switch screens. I got to fix poor Eli keeps getting bumped. I don't know why. It always has to throw you off onto a different screen here, but I got to change it every time, it seems. But anyway, I want to pull up your book here. It is on Amazon if anybody is interested. It is you can just go to Amazon and just search From Chit-Chat to Life Hack, and it'll pretty much be the first thing that you'll find. But how ChatGPT can change your life by Eli Snyder. It is free if you already pay for the Kindle like Ultimate service or Unlimited, I think is what it is, the Kindle Unlimited. Or if you have, I think if you have the regular Amazon Prime, I think you get it for free as well. Or it's $7, which is a great deal. And it's not a super heavy, like 200-page manual. It's, I think, 50 pages, give or take?
Yeah, about 50 pages or so.
So not bad. Light read. That's like an afternoon on the bathroom toilet or something for most people. I don't know about my viewers. A few people have tuned in here and there, but I have no comments so far, so that's okay. We'll see how this goes. But again, if you guys are interested at all, again, this is a great read. It sounds like it's going to be a manual that I feel like will be mentioned many a time in the near future. Mainly because, again, like you said, it covers a lot from the fact that, again, it's not just about, creative writing, but also you get the examples, goes over stress relief, play for banter and humor and all that good stuff. And it just I can't believe it's got a whole section in there just about the social impact and social skills, which is super cool too. So really exciting. I think everybody should take a look at this book and give it a little look-see. Do you think you'll have other books coming in the future as ChatGPT evolves over the years?
I certainly think I'll probably update that book.
Okay.
As
like a different edition or
ChatGPT
something?
progresses. Yeah, like another edition. I've thought about like maybe making specific editions specific to different careers, or like are specific to like productivity, or like teaching, or healthcare, what have you, kind of things as well. Or like maybe like how to make some extra money or something like that, or like tailoring additions to like certain niches, I suppose, and how you can utilize ChatGPT in your specific profession or area of expertise.
I mean, why not? I mean, that's going to be really. I imagine this is where ChatGPT is going to go in the future. So I figured, you're going to want to expand on it, or have different editions of the book, or different, one about also, social skills, or another one about, playful games and things, or recipes and stuff. And I know you won't be the only one. I know this is such a new territory for everybody out there, and that's why I've been like, I gotta put more videos together about this, because it's really taken over a lot of different parts of our internet and how we connect to each other. I think it'll be very soon we see it on Facebook and morphing its way into the social media side of things as well. But we'll see how long that takes. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely want to say thank you for coming on this show. I think we covered all the questions here. It wasn't a super long episode for everybody, but this definitely probably won't be the last time we'll see you. I have a feeling Andrew's probably got some more questions he'll probably want to throw our way. So we'll probably have you on in a week or two here as well. And,
Sounds good.
We will definitely keep in touch. But I just want to say thank you to all the viewers that did tune in today. And if you guys have any questions, or if you want to see more of Eli and ask him some more questions, drop them down in the comments below, and we will do our best to relay all the information that we need to him. Or you can hit us up at our email. It's cookiesenabled01@gmail.com. And again, I will relay anything back to Eli that is pertinent to him. So let me know what you guys think of the From Chit-Chat to Life Hack book. If any of you have read it, or if you own it. If you don't own it, check it out. Again, it's free for probably a good chunk of you. So let us know what you all think, and we will see you all next time. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a great one.
See ya.
Sweet.